It's about 7:30 here on a Tuesday night, and I'm just winding down my day of working with clients and also consulting with clients on various programs to help clients overcome some of their life situations and life challenges. And today it seemed the anger of the day was the theme of the day, not the anger of the day. The theme of the day was anger. Rebecca, good evening. Wahib, hi. Please let me know if you've got any questions about anything as we go along. I'm glad you're able to join us. So today the theme of the consultations and the theme of the sessions was all about anger. And by the end of the sessions, clients were leaving saying, oh my gosh, I just never realized I was angry. I just never realized that happened, and that's really how I felt. And it always surprises me, and clients always get surprised by how much anger is there, because anger has not been looked at. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about the importance of anger. Yes, anger is important. And not only is anger important, but releasing anger and understanding anger and reframing anger is even more important. So anger is an emotion, right? So just like all the other emotions, sadness, hurt, guilt, fear, anger is an emotion. And we all know, and we've all heard, that emotion stands for energy in motion. Sure, so anger is simply an energy in motion that points back, that's giving us feedback. Mark, hello, nice to have you with us. Hi, Valerie. It's just giving us feedback about something that matters to us. Anger is simply a message, a feedback response that a value, something that matters to us, has been impeded on or stepped on. So just take a moment and think about the things that piss you off, that irritate you, that anger you, that frustrate you, that agitate you. Down deep, the response is because you care, because something matters to you, and that thing that matters to you has been stepped on and questioned in some way. Road rage is a classic example. Sabine, hi Dushi. It's lovely to have so many people from the US here with us. So think of road rage. I mean, you think about people who get angry. Why do you get angry in the car if people are driving like idiots? It's simply because law and order on the road matter. If somebody breaks your trust, you get totally pissed off. Well, why do you get pissed off? Because loyalty is so important. Loyalty really matters. For me, one of my big triggers is actually mess in my house. If anybody clutters up the house, that really upsets me, because order and cleanliness really matter to me in my personal and living space. So here's a little suggestion, a little seed, a little reframe for you. The next time you catch yourself feeling the physical sensations of anger, just pause for a moment, recognize those sensations, those as feedback that this is a response to something that matters to you, and actually welcome it as an affirmation of what really matters. That will really, really help shift the whole experience, instead of denying it, instead of resisting it, and instead of trying to bury it, because that does not work. And I'm going to come to that in a moment. And here's something else. You guys, we all experience anger, regardless of our temperament, regardless of our disposition. We can be the most chill person, or we could be, the extreme, a very expressive, explosive person. But the actual emotion is still the same, whether you're very explosive or whether you're somebody who is very, very chill and even keel. Because emotion, as a natural human emotion, actually falls on a continuum. And I think that's why a lot of the clients that come to me and come to us therapists, when you talk about anger, they're like, no, I'm not angry. I'm not an angry person. I hear that. I cannot begin to tell you how often I hear, I'm not an angry person. And sure, you might not be an explosive person. You might not be somebody who expresses outrage. But by virtue of being human, you carry that human emotion that responds to when something has been stepped upon or impeded upon. So it's really important to recognize all the flavors, all the shades of that human emotion that is a response to what matters to you if it gets stepped upon. So, what is it that you get agitated about? What do you get frustrated about? Of course, yeah, sure, what outrages you, because that's the other extreme. So please consider that all of us have this common way of responding to what gets impeded upon or gets stepped upon. So even if you're not somebody who throws a temper tantrum and was not somebody who's outraged, anger is still there. And it's really important to recognize that anger is there, you guys, because anger tops the hierarchy of emotions. So in the line of work that I do, when people come to me for chronic stress, PTSD, depression, insomnia, chronic pain, anxiety, just work-life balance, I start with anger for everyone. And it's amazing that once the anger is cleared, then we can actually pave the way. That paves the way to start clearing what's really underneath the imbalancing situation in your life. Because think about it, it's so much easier to get angry than to show anger, than to feel hurt, or to show anger than to feel guilt or to feel shame. Up until I was 32, I never knew how to get angry. After that, a clock in me began to change. Wahib, I know for me too, I think growing up also for us coming from the Middle East, there's another layer around the anger. And I wouldn't be surprised if after you started befriending your anger, things really started to shift in your life. So thanks for sharing. And so in any type of therapy work, any type of work helping people stress less to be more, that's where I start. You've got to release what are the roots, what are the seeds, what are the events, what are the life situations, the relationships that are behind that emotion of anger. And here's the other thing that's really important to understand about befriending your anger if you want to stress less to be more. So the first one is that anger is a message. It's a message that something matters to you that has been impeded upon, and that we all experience anger. The other thing to keep in mind is that anger is a continuum. And the other thing we've been talking about so far is that anger masks everything else. So if there's something big you're trying to shift or change in your life, then look at the anger piece. And once the anger piece shifts, everything else starts to shift, change, and alter. Hi, Jan, nice to have you with us. And the last reason why it's really important to befriend your angers, to stress less, in order to stress less and be more, is, you guys, because anger is part of us. It is just as much as joy is part of us, just as much as creativity is part of us, just as much as problem solving is part of us, just as much as anything else is part of us. Aunt Lily, hello to you from the Gold Coast. So is anger. And let's not forget that because it's there as a messenger, it has a super protective benefit for us in our lives and in our human journeys. And when we don't acknowledge anger, and when we don't acknowledge it, deny it, hoping it will go away, that's when problems really start to fester. That's when problems really start to really begin. That's the root of it. Because then the anger has nowhere to go. It just stays there. Because don't forget, it's trying to tell you something. And if you're not looking at it and you're not accepting the message, it will stay, it will persist. Because what we resist persists and it grows and it endures. And then eventually it has a super imbalancing effect on our lives. So, and the other thing about not accepting something that is part of you is it ends up creating other negative emotions around it. Like you start feeling ashamed that you feel angry. You start feeling guilty that you feel angry. You start negative self-talk about yourself because you're feeling angry. And that starts you down the path of self-rejection and self-hatred. And anytime you go down that path, you're actually walking away from your innate wholeness and your innate completeness. And as you walk away from your innate wholeness and your innate completeness, you're distancing yourself from your true identity and your true nature, which is that of joy, balance, equanimity, and well-being. So you guys, as maybe unpleasant as it might be or seem to sit with anger, to look at anger, to do something with anger, it's such an important step to move forward, to move away from negativity and to embrace the things that you want for yourself. And you know, I think the big reason why a lot of us, and me for one, waited so long to look at it is because I didn't know how. I just absolutely, we're never taught to look at our anger, are we? You know, we're taught everything else, but we're not taught to look at our anger. If anything, we're taught not to show our anger. And now it's just been my life's work to share with people techniques and protocols and practices to help them look at their anger, to help them acknowledge their anger, to help them process and release their anger.